Okay, we should be done with case one, just the case one part. So I'm going to go over that with you. So for case one, the first step is going to be to solve. And so we're going to multiply each side by x plus 3 and x plus 3. So these will cancel out. And we'll have 9 is less than 6x plus 18. We're going to subtract 18. This is negative 9 is less than 6x. Now this part might be a little tricky. Do you guys know whether or not you have to switch the sign for this? No. Do you know why? Right, so it's the 6 that you're dividing by. So 6 is positive. So because 6 is positive, you are not going to switch the sign. Okay, so you have x is greater than negative 3 over 2. Okay, just by show of hands, how many of you got that without me? Okay, nice work. Okay, so then for step 2, now we're going to set the LCD x plus 3 is greater than 0 because it's positive. So x is greater than negative 3. So now we're going to graph this on the number line and find the overlap. Negative 3 over 2 is the same thing as what? Negative 1.5, right? So when you're doing your number line, if this is negative 1.5, that's going to be second because that's actually a larger number. Okay, so then I have x is greater than negative 3.5. I have x is greater than negative 3. So what I'm going to do is find their overlap. Okay, and so Alex, Dale, what's their overlap equation going to be?
X is greater than or equal to -0.
And it'll just be greater than. That's okay. Yep. Good. All right, and then we're going to do case 2. How did you guys do with case 1? Oh yeah, that good? Now your case 2 is usually going to go a little bit quicker, right? Yeah, because, right, for your first step, Gabe, what's our equation? What do we know our equation's going to be?
-3/2.
Well, read me the whole inequality.
Then we started with?
No, for step 1, what's your answer going to be? Your inequality. So you have to have x in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
X is less than.
yes. Good, yes, x is less than negative 3 over 2. Yep. So we're just going to flip that part. And then for step 2, do you guys notice what happens here as well? Yeah, that's just going to flip as well, right? So now we're going to have x is less than negative 3. So we have these two. So then for step 3, we're just going to find the overlap. So again, this is negative 3 over 2. This is negative 3. If they're both less than, they're both going towards the left. Okay, so then Petroba, can you tell me what that equation is going to be? Yeah, so it's the balance. So if it starts at the negative 3, see how the overlap starts at negative 3 and goes down? Well, how did you say that? Or something? It would just be less than, just because it's close. Yeah, okay, so it'll be x is less than negative 3. Okay, so that would be for step 1. Joe, did you already do the final solution for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the, can you tell me what it's going to be?
X is less than -3 or X is
But not less than, right?
greater
Okay, so x is greater than negative 3 over 2, or, really, I like to start with the one that's less than first. So x is less than negative 3, or x is greater than negative 3 over 2. And what you want to ask yourself again is if it can be both, okay? So x can't be both less than negative 3 and greater than or equal to negative 1/2. So you're going to connect your equations with or. Now that's not always going to happen, as we're going to see in our next example. Okay, so for our next example, go ahead and do case 1. Okay, so for case 1, where it is positive, your LCD is x plus 6. Are we starting to get the hang of it now, you think? Okay, so then you're going to cancel out. You'll get 8 greater than or equal to 2x plus 12 when you distribute. So we're going to subtract 12, divide by 2. Okay, so I have x is less than or equal to negative 2. And then for our step 2, this is positive, so I'm going to take x plus 6 and set it greater than 0. So x is greater than negative 6. This is where you guys are going to see a little bit of a difference here. Okay, so now when I go to put my equations on here, I have negative 6, I have negative 2, I have x is greater than negative 6, but I have x is less than or equal to negative 2. Can you guys see how this overlaps a little bit different? Yeah. For this overlap, see how it's in between two of them? So this is how you would write your answer. Your overlap would be negative 6 is less than x, but x is less than or equal to negative 2. Do you have a question for me? Okay, so again, this is coming from, if you look at your solution only, you have an open circle at negative 6. You have a closed circle at negative 2. This is the overlap area. And now we're ready for case 2. So case 2, I feel like you guys can crank that out pretty quick, right? Because for step 1, you're going to take your equation, you're going to flip the sign. For step 2, you're going to take your equation, you're going to flip the sign. And then for step 3, you're going to graph that on a number line. So I have negative 6 and I have negative 2. So I have x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So that'll be a closed circle. I have x is less than 6. Do I have any overlap here? Okay, so if there's no overlap, that means there's no solution for case 2. So guess what our final solution is? It'll be whatever you got for case 1. So, since case 1 produced the only solution, that is the solution of the inequality. Okay, so it's -6 is less than x, which is less than or equal to -2. That is your solution. And can you guys get your homework from the website today?